everybody, and welcome back. I'm really hoping that everybody watches the video from start to finish. What inspired me to do today's video is from the previous one I did, the very last video I put up. It's my Second Amendment right, says the convicted felon. There were quite a few comments, and I'm just going to use an example. So this is a comment that was made from a guy that didn't watch but maybe 2-3 minutes of the video, and I'm guessing just the very first part. You all seem very annoying to each other, to be completely honest. And some people don't like cats. That's why the term cat lady has been around for so long. Because if you have 12 cats running around that you don't let in your house, can you blame the guy that you started a cat zoo feeding sanctuary right next door where he can't come out without seeing 5 cats on their lawn? I think you're both wrong, but I'ma have to side with the guy, honestly. So he's being honest. Gotta give him that, he's being honest. And you know what? Comment all day long, that's cool. But watch the entire video, because you're making really a comment where that was really a small part of it, and you really don't know the entire backstory. And I didn't give the entire backstory because it wasn't really the point of the video. But the comment is uneducated. In Arizona, free-roaming cats are legal. Actually, free-roaming cats are protected by Arizona state law. So cats are all over the place. That's just factual, okay? They're all over the place. There are things that neighbors can do to keep cats off their property if they don't like cats.
Well, if he doesn't like cats underneath his home, first thing he can do is try closing up the skirting.
Yeah, and that's what I said in the video.
Think about that.
Yeah, close up your skirting. But that's not the point of the video, and I think that's what I'm trying to say here, is you don't just watch a minute of it and then form your opinion of the entire video and attack on one thing only and call me a cat lady, which is so classic, right? So clever, I'm a cat lady. How about the fact that I actually care about the cats and their well-being, and I care for them? That's what I do. But appreciate the label, because that's another topic we're going to get into. So that's what I asked. Just watch the entire video before you form an opinion. Okay, so talking about labels, and I don't know, is it because I'm a woman, or it has to be? Because it's coming from men, and I know most of my demographic is older men, and I don't know, they have this saying where it's just this Karen. My name is Shelly, by the way. It's Shelly. It's not Karen, but I think it's hilarious that I keep getting labeled a Karen. And so I had a little fun. I thought, oh, I'm going to look it up. All right, so this is Karen. Let's see. Well, my first lookup was Karen is a female name of a Danish origin. Okay, so Karen is a female name of Danish origin. Basically, Karen means pure, which points to the wonderful innocence of childhood and the loving, pure nature babies embody. Well, I'm certainly not pure, but I would take that over the slang, which is what these people mean when they call me Karen. Yeah. Karen. A middle-class white woman who is perceived as entitled or demanding beyond the scope of what is normal. Oh, yeah.
So you're getting called a Karen, and it's supposedly a negative name.
I'm an old white woman.
Okay. But you are a Karen. You're caring for cats. You're caring for animals that come through. And sometimes you're even caring for other people. Maybe.
I'll stick with the cats.
So I guess that, it might be spelled a little different, but you are a Karen.
I am a Karen.
And I'm glad you're here with me, because you're a Karen for me while I get old, too.
So, labels, people. Let's get a little more creative with your labels. Why do we do labels? Why is that? Okay, I mean, it's just so easy. Call me a Karen. It's just like, why don't you just... it's just so simple-minded. It's just so simple-minded. And if you know what? I know how to do this video. This is the way I'm going to do this video. I am going to identify as a man, which means there will be no smiling, there will be no laughing. I'm going to be really, really serious about all this. All right, you ready? Okay, there's some things we need to talk about here, about this last video that I did. And now that I know that I have your attention being a man and not just some crazy cat lady or some Karen, let's talk about in the video. I have Jeremy comes out and approaches me, and then everybody rips me apart. But there's 2 other videos in this video where Mark approached Jeremy, or Jeremy approached Mark, whatever, and no one said anything about Mark, about him being a snitch, or him against the Second Amendment right, or about him and his this, or him and his that. No, it was just, how dare I, right? How dare a woman stand up to anything? You know, now I'm just a snitch, or I'm a narc, and I called the cops. Oh, what a horrible thing to do. You know what? That was the first time I've ever in my life called the cops. I mean, so on the backstory, real quick, the guy was stealing my shit for months, okay? For months he was stealing. He was dumping food in the water for the cats. It was just to the point where I was so pissed off. And then he has the nerve to come up and approach me. The gun was an afterthought, all right? The gun was an afterthought. When he comes up, he approaches me. We have it out. The biggest issue I had with this kid was him living in this park. Talk about park rules. Park regulations, you know what? They do matter, okay? They matter because we live in a 55+ community. They have their park rules and regulations for a reason, okay? So, yeah, he's got his Second Amendment right to have a gun. Not if he's a convicted felon. I want to really hear something that's screwed up is through this whole situation with these people. You know, I end up getting a harassment injunction based on lies, based on Facebook bullshit from 10 years ago. This woman takes in to the judge, lies to the judge to get the harassment, and in the harassment injunction, the judge took away my weapons that I didn't even have, that I don't even own. My husband owns them, but they're not in my name. All for lies and nothing concrete, no proof, no evidence of anything. She literally went in and just said, lied, because of course I read the statement, and just like that. It was nothing for that judge to order that I turn over all my weapons to the Mesa Police Department, which didn't happen. Didn't go down that way, okay? Now you're going to give me shit about this kid coming out and approaching me with a gun on his hip when he's a convicted felon. Does he have a right to have a gun? Absolutely not, and we know that. You know, I don't know what his felony charge was for. And because, of course, a lot of people have felony charges that are just bunkus bullshit. I get that. You know, so, but that's not the point. That's the law. That's the way it is, okay? You break the law, they have the right to take away your guns, okay?
Well, they have a right to take away your rights.
They have a right to take away rights, yeah.
Say right. They have the authority to take away your rights or your birthright rights.
Yeah. We have guns, weapons, whatever, very few, but we have them for our own protection. I'm kind of thinking that's what it was all about, right? So when you decide to cross that line and take that weapon and go hurt somebody with it, then you need to be held accountable, period. If it's a cat, that is still, it's animal cruelty, right? So you're saying that's okay? That he can go out and shoot at 3 o'clock in the morning at a cat? And that he should be able to still have a Second Amendment right? Phew, you need to rethink that process in your head there. Then we go into the freedom of speech is because, again, something that I went through, so again, there is a personal take to it, but I was posting on Facebook, just simply asking some of my friends, what can I do? How can I stop this? How can I get some help? It was that easy for that woman, and this is no joke, okay? It was all Facebook posts with the cats, because it did all kind of come around with the cats, because they didn't like the cats. They trapped them and threw them out in the desert, and that turned around into, she literally took it in and turned it into a big ordeal, but it was fabricated lies, and the judge never asked for anything to substantiate it. Therefore, now, only did they want to take away my guns, but now they shut me down from YouTube. And this was, you know, a little while ago, not too long ago, but literally was ordered, I cannot post to or about Connie for a whole year. And I mean, I didn't even cross my mind that a judge could do that, and he couldn't do that, as we found out down the road. But that feeling, you know, and I think that was the hardest thing for me too, is that feeling of like, but I wasn't doing anything harassing. I didn't do anything that was, you know, mean or spiteful, or that I was going to, you know, hurt her at all. Nothing. All I wanted to do, honestly, was to communicate with the people. I've always been, for me, when I was younger, there was no mention of this shit. I mean, you would duke it out on the playground, or you would say what you want to say. Boy, I've been called, you know, calling me Karen is so far offending me. You know, I mean, that's what we did. It was never, you worked it out, or you didn't, and you went your separate ways and carried on with life. You know, but nowadays it's like, boy, you even, you know, you think about saying something, I called that woman fat, right? Well, she is fat. She's a big obese woman, and that's harassment. It isn't harassment, it's factual. Sorry it hurts your feelings, but it's factual, it's truth. And a lot of people just can't handle that. And in that freedom of speech, again, it's being logical and sensible about what you say. It's always the thing my dad always said, think before you speak, and you process. I mean, I don't want to say something to be hurtful and harmful to another human being, but if there is a disagreement and there's something that needs to be discussed and words come out, then that needs to be handled between two people. You bring in courts and judges and police and all that stuff, it just goes from bad to worse and like that. But we don't do that anymore. We don't communicate with one another, you know, because we don't have to like everybody, each other, but we don't communicate. We just immediately just want to cry baby and not man up to it. And because I'm identifying as a man, so I'm going to man up to it. So instead of like calling people names and being, you know, that kind of person on YouTube, period. If the content, if you have, like with Mark, okay, Mark that was tased, you know, that video, of course, there was some comments that said that he needed to comply. He started it, it was, you know, he needed to chill out and comply. There's people that will disagree, you know, think that he got what he deserved. And there's people that are going to be like, absolutely not. You know, there's no way in hell they went up and beyond. They never should have done that. And you're, of course, then there's that whole thing. We're all entitled to our opinion. And I really hate that labeling too. Entitled to it. It's like, what? I mean, entitled to it. I mean, when are you going to question authority, question the things that are put at you that you didn't ask for? But I'm interested in talking, communicating, debating, and trying to find a little fun because it seems like we're all getting way too damn serious out there, and there's got to be a point when you got to have a little fun with this life. Anyway, I really wanted to bring up the whole comment thing. If you think that it doesn't matter to me, it does. I read all the comments, and there's a lot of, and I don't read them just because I want you to support everything. I really like the questioning. I like people to question stuff. And I didn't tell the whole story about that over there because it's a long, drawn-out story, so I wrote a book about it. It's not just something I can tell you in 15 or 20 minutes. But what I did do is I stood up, and I will continue to stand up and say what I need to say or be against something that I don't support, and just kind of like to throw one out at you. This is one. Seatbelts. Going to end it with a simple seatbelt thing. I think it's ridiculous. If I want to wear a seatbelt, I'll wear a seatbelt. If I don't, I won't. I don't think anybody should impose that on me and tell me it's a law and I have to wear it, and if I don't, then I get fined. Trust me, there's a lot of laws that I do not support. And that's just a small, simple one. But people living in this park, you do not go out at 3 o'clock in the morning and shoot your gun. And a felon should not have a gun, and he did. And the bottom line with all that is the cops never cited him for it. He was never held accountable for it. And I really think the whole really big picture with all that was that he is now 37 years old, living in a 55 plus, that has had trouble with the law, and he's no longer a caretaker for his mom because she's gone, and he's living there all by himself, now claiming mental disability. That was really the whole point of the video. And you know what? I kind of like being a woman, so we're going to stick with that. I was proving a point. I'm not identifying as a man. Oh, I kind of like it. Kind of like being a woman, and I hope you like it too. So it was directed mostly to women, and maybe men should learn from it as well. But I was raised basically to never talk up, never speak up, never say, you know, you don't talk back, you don't blah blah blah, and respect. And in that video, if you listen, Jeremy says something about me being the problem and I don't respect. At what point in time am I supposed to respect this person? This word respect is way, way overused. I don't ask anybody to respect me, and I'm not going to respect anybody else. I mean, this is just a word that needs to just be removed, I think, period, from the English language, just this respect thing. You know, oh, you owe me, you need to respect me. And in that generation, when being taught to be silent, I never was. I never ever was. I would always talk about my feelings, how I felt about things, and we need to do that. We need to talk. We need to open up. We need to communicate. Choose your words wisely. You don't have to be rude. You don't have to be a shithead. You know, choose your words wisely. Here, see, you don't have to be a shithead. You don't have to be a shithead. Too many people that just turn a blind eye. They don't want any part of it. Don't want to get involved. Well, anyway, again, I want to do a big shout out to DirectD for being so awesome, and see you next time.